Welcome to Grandstand Sports Data, your go-to channel for sports stats and unbiased handicapping. In this video, we're diving deep into our quarterback analysis and dissecting their 2023 performance based on statistical projections. We will be giving each of the 32 projected starters a letter grade based on an algorithm used in our past quarterback evaluation videos. Make sure to check out those past videos, and if you appreciate this analysis and love our hard work, give the video a like and subscribe to our content. Into the actual numbers and the actual grades, we're going to tell you how we determine the grades. So if you're used to Grandstand Sports Data's past quarterback analysis videos, we come up with about 10 to 12 stats based on the quarterback's performance, and we developed an algorithm that I guess we would call it the quarterback's war. Now, what are these trend lines, you're going to ask? Well, these trend lines are going to be the projections of each of those statistics that we use. So those 10 to 12 statistics, we took the player's past performance and we used these trend lines to give us a hypothesis of what their performance will be in 2023. Of these 6 hypotheses, we then took the average of them and applied it to this year's rating. So you will see more as we go forward. We're also going to include the ranks of each statistic, where the player falls. So for instance, where does Jalen Hurts fall in terms of accuracy or in terms of his passer rating this season? We will have the rank for each of the statistics. We will also have the total rank of the quarterback. So let's start with our failing and almost failing quarterbacks. So we only have one failing quarterback, and that will be Mac Jones. He's coming in at dead last in the year in the NFL in terms of ranks. You can see from his statistical categories that he's ranking almost dead last in almost every statistical category except for bad throw percentage. He is middle of the road in other statistics. We're not going to touch on some of the guys that are ranked dead last, or else we'll be here forever. Geno Smith is a little bit of a surprise coming in at a D-. Geno Smith was maybe, in terms of statistics, a top 10 quarterback for most of the year last season, but then defenses started to figure him out. And I think this is what this statistical analysis is actually factoring in. Now, Baker Mayfield, he has the weapons. He does have the weapons this year, and historically he's done well with weapons when he had ODB back in Cleveland. But coming in at a D here, he is trending downwards in terms of his career, 30th in the NFL. They have him for a win percentage, or what we would like to call it at Grandstand Sports Data, a war for the quarterback. Now, coming in for a D in our first rookie quarterback touched upon, CJ Stroud. We didn't factor in any preseason. He didn't look good in the preseason. How we factored in numbers for our rookie quarterbacks, you could see from a past video that we had when we ranked our top 5 quarterback prospects. We'll probably leave a card in the top right-hand side, but that will show you how we came to these statistics, and he is not really ranking well, as he'll be 29th in the NFL, and will probably struggle this year. And then next is our needs improvement quarterbacks. Needs improvement, D+, Sam Howell. Sam Howell, Washington fans seem to be excited about him. This statistical analysis, not so much. His best ranking here is 18th in terms of touchdown percentage, and usually that's a telltale sign of a good quarterback. So maybe the numbers are not really aligning with this right now. My opinion on him is it's not enough of a sample size. Kenny Pickett coming in at a C-. I think this was ranked a little bit low. I think he's got good weapons with Pickens. I think that he's able to throw the ball downfield. As you can see from drop percentage, this is based on last year's numbers. 9th in the league were the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they weren't bad at dropping the ball. They caught most of the passes. But as you can tell, he's not really on target, as he's ranked 29th in the league in terms of his projection. So that's just his projection. Russell Wilson coming in at 26th. He's a C- as well. He looks like a middle-of-the-road quarterback. I think if you're fundamentally analyzing Russell Wilson, you should see some improvements this season, especially with Sean Payton now calling the shots there. So I think if you're going to bet on Russell Wilson being the 26th best quarterback, you're a little crazy. He's going to be a little bit better than that this season, just from our fundamental analysis, so not this technical analysis. So let's move on to our serviceable quarterback. So maybe not middle of the road, but just serviceable. Can do little things, but not really that playmaker type of guy. Coming in at 25th, it's going to be Anthony Richardson. He was named the starter for the Indianapolis Colts probably just about a few days ago. This video has been recorded on August 16th, so we've made our projections based on ESPN. ESPN has projected depth charts. Anthony Richardson was the starting quarterback for the Colts. It looks like a pretty, I would say, average rookie season right there for Anthony Richardson. Jordan Love, everybody seems to be up on him, especially fantasy. I guess you would call them fantasy experts. They really like Jordan Love. I guess you could have a good fantasy year and still stink up the joint, but we have him ranked as the 24th best quarterback in terms of the projections and the analysis that we've come up with. Now, here's a surprise. Jared Goff. Jared Goff was a top 10 quarterback when we did our statistical analysis last year for quarterbacks. He was top 10 almost throughout the whole season. He finished in the top 10. I want to say it was 8th off the top of my head. He doesn't throw many picks. He's not throwing many touchdowns, though, right here, as you can see in terms of the projection, but he's not being sacked much. I guess that you can say he hasn't been on target in terms of comparing him against the rest of the quarterbacks, and that could be an issue. Bryce Young having not too bad. I mean, having a serviceable rookie season is not a bad thing. It's about building on that. And looking like Bryce Young coming into the sea here and being ranked 22nd, that's serviceable. Especially being in that dump of Carolina, a serviceable year is not necessarily a bad year, and probably something for Carolina fans to look forward to going forward. Next, let's move on to our lower to middle tier quarterbacks. So coming in at a C is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I'm not really high on. It's been the whole season last year. I was talking about him, how he doesn't make mistakes. He protects the football. He's also been on target most of the time too, as well. And it looks like the projection's just going up. The projection has him as on target throws at second in the league, and his bad throw percentage is top 10 as well. So he doesn't throw a bad ball, and he throws everything on target. What does that tell you, though? Mr. Checkdown, because the touchdown percentages don't line up. He would be touchdown percentage of dead last in the league. So he does need that run game. He does need that coach. That coach does really well at almost hiding his weaknesses on offense. So, and when I say his weaknesses, I mean as a unit, not just Daniel Jones, as a unit. He's done it historically in his career. Coming in also at 20 is Desmond Ridder. He is also getting a C grade as well. He has a lot of guys projected to not drop the football for him this season, but will they be playmakers? I don't know. His bad throw percentage is not really projected to be very well, second to last in the NFL, and his on target has not been on full display, so his accuracy is not really there as well. Next, Kyler Murray. We know that he's missing some of the year, but he's projected to be majority of the quarterback or majority of the playing time at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. He's been trending down. Then you take one of his weapons away. He has been on target, though, for most of his career, and he hasn't had much bad balls. But I don't expect fireworks from him, especially when you're taking away one of his main weapons. Now, gaining a weapon is Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, he comes in. He can be a very efficient quarterback, but for most of his career, these rankings that we see right below in the color codes is very, I guess you would call it aligns well with Ryan Tannehill's career. He's middle of the road, and that's what I think you're seeing here. I think you'll see a little bit of an uptick. I think he'll be better than 18th, especially he had a season where I want to say it was about 3 years ago. He was the number one efficient quarterback in the whole NFL. So I guess that was his ceiling year, and now you're seeing more of that middle of the road. Now coming in at number 17, a guy who I thought had a pretty good year last year, Kirk Cousins. But look at who he's throwing to. He's throwing to a lot of great guys. I think you're going to see Addison actually step up into that role now that Thielen moved on. But Kirk Cousins, I don't know. I don't know. He just can't win you the game. And I know this is getting away from the technical analysis and more on the fundamentals. But I think Kirk Cousins at a B minus. I think that pretty much sums up who Kirk Cousins is. He's a B minus. He's a B minus quarterback. Coming in next is Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo coming in as a 16th ranked quarterback in terms of this analysis. He doesn't throw many picks. It looks like he's going to have a good adjusted net yards per attempt, and he doesn't throw many bad balls. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is actually rated pretty low here. I don't know if he's ever had a target like Davante Adams in his career. I mean, he's had a Debo, he's had those, but he hasn't had that guy that he can throw at 40 yards downfield and just can catch the ball over anyone. Next, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson coming in at 15th. This is actually one of his worst projected ranks throughout his career. He's always been up there in the top 10. At the worst, I believe it was like 12th in one of our analysis. And there's a lot of blue here. It doesn't project. He looks like he's trending downward in most of these statistics that we think make up a winning quarterback. Now, he does affect the game with his wheels, just like the next guy we're going to touch on, Justin Fields. But is that enough to win games at a high level? They both have shown no. That includes Lamar in the playoffs. Yes, Lamar can get his team to the playoffs, but then in the playoffs, he shows a little bit of quit in him. I know that might hit Baltimore fans right in the feelings, but it's the truth. There's a little bit of quit in that guy. Justin Fields, I think he's pretty much the same quarterback as Lamar Jackson. It's almost identical to the same guy. The projections from his stats are showing, though, that his touchdown percentages are going to go way up this season. He's going to have a high QBR, but his rating's not going to match. So he's going to be throwing a lot of picks. So he's probably going to be taking a lot of chances. He's going to be using his legs to win games, which can get you to a certain point, which I basically said when I touched on Lamar. It'll get you to a certain point, but in the playoffs, when a good defense puts 8 men in the box and forces him to throw up top, will he be able to do it? And if he's able to do it, does he have the impact players to do it too? I don't think DJ Moore's the guy. I don't think he's that guy. So that's my take on it. But he does get the B grade here. Now let's go on to our good, but not elite just yet. And we're looking at Derek Carr with the B. Derek Carr, he's been, same face, but in a new place, I guess you would say. He has a pretty good amount of weapons. I don't know if he's going to have the weapon that Davante Adams was in New Orleans. I mean, people love Olave. I even think the Michael Thomas, there's a lot of shade on that guy. He was great when Breeze was there. If they can just get 70% of the production that he had with Breeze, you got a pretty good offense there. You got something cooking. So 13th, I think, is a pretty good rank and a pretty good feel for Derek Carr. Also, I'd like to touch on, I'm just breezing through these. If you guys would like to pause and take a look at the ranks, that's what these videos are for. That's what all these videos are for from Grandstand Sports Data. Make sure to hit the like button if you like the work that we put into these. And subscribe if you like to see more of this stuff. We're not just football. We're not just basketball. We are everything. We cover everything if you check our channel. Next, Justin Herbert at number 12. Justin Herbert, I think he's a little bit of a fraud. You want me to give my fundamental analysis? A little bit of a fraud, a little bit of a fraudulent quarterback. Got a huge contract. I think in the words of Kevin Garnett, you want to see a real man? See him after he's got the bag. He got the bag. Let's see how he is. I mean, he has shown a little bit of, I guess you would say, a guy who can't take you over the top. I mean, he's a great quarterback throwing for a lot of yards and throughout the season, but then in those clutch winning moments, some people will blame his coach. I'm one of them. I kind of think the coach is an idiot, but Herbert's got some blame in there. He's got some blame in there too. He doesn't have much of a bad throw percentage, so he does put a lot of his passes on point. But just keep in mind, it's that win factor. I don't know if he has that win factor. And coming in number 11, Matt Stafford. I think it's a little bit of a comeback season for Matt Stafford. I would say slightly. 11 is a little high, and giving him a B is a little high, but that's what the projections have. The projections do say he has a big bad throw percentage, so he's not going to have, I guess, the weapons that you would say. I mean, he's middle of the road in terms of on-target percentage, seeing the pressure, which I think his offensive line has gotten worse. His bad throw percentage is not the greatest, so I don't know where this is seeing him, I guess, shine. I guess I guess you can go with the coaching. That's the best that I can say. I mean, scheming up with McVay. Coming in at number 10, cracking the top 10 is Brock Purdy. And with this analysis, Brock Purdy was top 10 in terms of touchdown percentage, passer rating, top 10 in bad throw percentage, and also in terms of feeling the pressure. So it's something to look out for. But just note that his receivers tend to drop footballs, as you can see, ranked 29th in the NFL in that statistic. Me, I'm not that high on Brock Purdy, but who cares what I think? You guys are here for the numbers. Now, here are the guys that cracked the top 10. We got an A minus for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he had a good year last year. He's got a strong offensive line. You can tell by all the way to the right, that pressure percentage. He hasn't really seen much pressure in his career. And the hypothesis here is that he won't see much this season. There'll be a top 3 offensive line. He'll have number 1 quarterback rating in terms of the ESPN QBR, and his passer rating will be a 107.3, second in the NFL, and then tying for first in the NFL with interception percentage. So he's going to protect the ball. He's going to score often. What's not to love about Jalen Hurts, right? Coming in next, A minus for Joe Burrow, ranking 8th. I think this is low for Joe. I love Joe. I do. I think he's got the killer instinct. He has the ass when it comes to winning. He wants he and you're telling me he's gonna rank number 1 in terms of projections for all these stats and not be the number 1 quarterback, number 1 in terms of completion percentage, number 1 in terms of touchdown percentage, number 1 in terms of bad throw percentage, so he doesn't throw a bad ball, and number 1 in terms of being on target. I mean, he's going to put the ball accurately on his receivers, and he's going to score a lot of touchdowns and have one of the best passer ratings this season. How is that not a number 1 quarterback? Crazy to me. I guess they see a lot of interceptions with the 25th in the NFL. I think he protects the football. We'll take a look. Now, coming in at number 7, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, this is his comeback year. And all the things that I mentioned about Joe Burrow, about having the ass and winning and wanting to prove something, that's Aaron Rodgers this year. It's Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to have an MVP season. I would rank him higher than 7th. I think him and Joe are low on this. Um, Aaron Rodgers coming in at 3rd in terms of touchdown percentage for his projections. It looks like he's going to be protected at top 5 in the NFL in terms of the pressure percentage. I think that this is going to be his year in terms of an MVP caliber season. Now, will he be able to win? That's a different story. Think of the likes of who he's going up against. Buffalo and their defense, Kansas City and their established offense and defense with the coaching of Andy Reid. So in terms of winning, that you'll get my opinion from now throughout the NFL season, but I think that he's going to rank high as a regular season quarterback this year. Now let's go to the middle of our top 10. Middle of our top 10, Tua. Tua was great last year. He was mostly the number 1 quarterback for that middle part of the year, like weeks, I want to say 9 through about 15, or around when he wasn't injured. Let's put it like that. So when he wasn't hurt, he was ranking as a high 1 quarterback, 2, 3 around that area. He was like switching with Allen and Mahomes a lot, but he was up there and he was producing. It was his adjusted net yards per attempt last year, and it looks like it's going to get better this year. That's dangerous, and that's mostly due to the weapons that he has. Now, can they keep him upright? It doesn't look necessarily like they will in terms of the projection, as it has him at 23rd in the NFL in terms of pressure percentage, so he might be on his ass a lot. And the interceptions will tick up a little bit, being 19th in the NFL. He just needs to remain accurate. He needs to get the ball off to those guys. He does have the right coach to scheme that. So as long as he can stay healthy, I think Miami fans will be happy with him and with the offense. Coming in at number 5, Dak Prescott. He's ranking with an A minus as well. Looks like typical Dak. All of this. I mean, 5 is a little high. I think you would drop him down. I think you would bump A-Rod up, Burrow up, Dak a little down. Keep Tua where he is. That's how I would have it in terms of fundamentals. I think Dak is trending downward, and maybe some of these stats are not reflecting that, but I think he's getting a little older. He's getting a little older, and I think he's going to be trending down. But last year, please note, he did have a good year last year. He came on late because of the injuries, but when he came, he There's about 2 or 3 games where he had to get into the swing of things, but when he got into the swing of things, he was playing ball. So he might throw it in my face this season. Now, here's one I don't agree with, but the stats in the projections are looking like Deshaun Watson at number 4. Deshaun Watson at number 4 with an A minus. It looks like he's going to have a high completion percentage and be the number 1 passer rating quarterback. Ooh, I think that's a tall order. His adjusted net yards per attempt will be second in the NFL. He does throw an on-target football with 79.3% on-target throws. It's just that right there with that pressure percentage, I think that's going to speed him up, and it's going to reflect the rest of these stats. I think this is very high for Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to count last year. I know I don't want to be one of those guys, but it was too little of a sample size. It was too long of a layoff. This season will be the season where you can actually grade Deshaun Watson. But if that offensive line is projecting to be 27th in the NFL, he's not going to have a good time this season. Move on to the elite guys 1 through 3. Coming in at number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's going to be 1. He's usually always 1 when it comes to these. When we do the statistical analysis at the end of the season, I don't see another reason why he will not be. He's usually number 1 in terms of the passer rating. He's usually number 1 in terms of touchdown percentage. As long as he can stay upright with his offensive line, it looks like they're projected to rank 13th in the NFL this season. Maybe towards the beginning of the year. Usually they are the team, they get into the swing of things, and as the season goes on, they start rolling and Pat starts rolling. But I think this is going to be it's going to be him, Rodgers, MVP caliber seasons for them. Coming in at number 2 and maybe a bit of a surprise, but the stats are showing that the trend is moving upward on this man, and it's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence being ranked number 2 with an A+ grade, A+ for him. His interceptions are going to be at a career low, ranking number 1 in the NFL. His pressure seems to be looking like his offensive line is going to do him some justice this season. He's also ranking in the top 5 for completion percentage, passer rating, sack percentage, adjusted net yards per attempt. So he's everywhere. The only thing that I factor in here is the drop percentage. His receivers did not catch the football for him when the ball was thrown on their numbers last season. Now, you guys are going to say, what about Calvin Ridley? They added Calvin Ridley. If you look at Calvin Ridley, he has a problem with dropping the ball, or I would say his catch radius. I think he has like a 65% catch percentage, where the elite guys catch it at almost an 80%. So that doesn't mean Calvin Ridley's not a good wide receiver. It just means that he doesn't catch the ball nearly enough as he should, but when he does catch it, he produces. So don't think that I'm trying to say that Calvin Ridley's not a good ball player. It's just the catch radius. Don't know about the catch radius. But this is projecting Trevor Lawrence to have a hell of a season this year. Coming in at number 1, Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I've always said, is he can limit the turnovers, both fumbling the ball and with interceptions. He is an elite quarterback. But he has that problem not on a yearly basis, on a weekly basis. He has a problem with protecting the football. Here, the numbers are not showing that. They're showing him being middle of the road in terms of interception percentage and middle of the road when it comes to throwing the ball on target. I think he's had a little bit of a problem with accuracy. I think that they hide it a little bit with the coordinator, so they're able to scheme up plays where he doesn't have to be particularly the most accurate guy out there. But as you can see from the numbers, he's supposed to be top 4 in terms of touchdown percentage. His passer rating will be top 10 with a 102.2 in terms of the projections. The ESPN QBR at ranked 3rd in the NFL, and he won't be dropped on his ass much. As you can see, top 5 in terms of sack percentage. So there will be pressure, but will he fall on his ass? Doesn't really look like it. So, as always, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. We hope you found our 2023 NFL QB grades video entertaining. Our goal at Grandstand Sports Data is to provide you with stats that bring unbiased handicapping. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Your feedback is everything to us. So leave a comment below on your opinion and what quarterbacks you think will have a great season and some that will not. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.